Alvin Kamara's best days in New Orleans are over, and the Saints must trade him as soon as they can. Today, I'll be showing you how exactly the Saints have dug themselves into the deepest hole possible, and keeping Alvin Kamara is only holding them back. For starters, the Saints just got shut out for the first time in 21 years, and their offense looked absolutely horrible. They failed to convert in the red zone trip after trip, and their offense is so lackluster that they don't even have an identity. They have 3 quarterbacks in rotation consisting of Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill, yet all of them are not good. Andy Dalton hasn't had a winning season in 8 years and is now transformed into one of the NFL's casual journeymen. Then they have Jameis Winston, who just isn't playing anymore due to him throwing more interceptions than touchdowns, thus having to bench him. And then you have Taysom Hill, who plays quarterback snaps, yet is listed as a tight end, but is heavily involved in running schemes. Yeah, makes no sense. The Saints have yet to find their true QB and are currently sitting at 4-8. It's safe to say that they won't make the playoffs, but at least they'll get a high draft pick and can maybe draft a quarterback, right? Nope. See, this is where the Saints have dug themselves a deep hole. In the offseason, the Saints and the Eagles made a trade. The Saints acquired the 16th pick and 19th pick of the 2022 draft, as well as pick 194, whilst the Eagles acquired the 18th pick of the 2022 draft, the 101st pick, the 237th pick, and a 2023 first-round pick, and a 2024 second-round pick. Why did the Saints trade away their future picks? I don't know, but this is how it's panning out for them so far. The Saints then packaged the 16th pick they received from the Eagles, as well as the 98th and 120th pick, to move up in the draft and select Chris Olave. Combining the team's pre-draft and draft day trades, the Saints essentially gave up 5 picks to select Olave, consisting of 2 2022 third-rounders, a 2022 fourth-rounder, a 2023 first-rounder, and a 2024 second-rounder. That is an absurd amount of draft capital for a team to surrender for one singular player. Even though Olave has been playing well, it doesn't necessarily make a great impact on the future of their team. With the other first-round pick the Eagles sent the Saints, the 19th pick, the Saints selected Trevor Penning, an offensive lineman who already has suffered from a torn ligament in his foot. And again, they currently sit at 4-8 this year, and instead of receiving a top 10 draft pick for next year, that draft pick is now in Philly's hands. I honestly don't understand why they gave up so much for a wide receiver when they don't have a valid quarterback, and not to mention they also let go of Marcus Williams and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Marcus Williams started off the year incredibly hot with 3 interceptions in 2 games, but hasn't played since October due to injury. Meanwhile, CJ Gardner-Johnson is having a career year, transforming into one of the best safeties in the league and currently sits on top of the interception leaderboard with 6 interceptions so far this year. So what exactly are the Saints doing? They have no sense of direction, have one of the worst cap spaces in the NFL, ranking 28th out of 32 teams, and have damaged their future. In order for the Saints to gain sense of direction, they need to trade Alvin Kamara to gain draft picks and to help start the rebuild. And I say the Saints need to trade Alvin Kamara in particular because he hasn't been the same, but he still holds value and teams will still pay for him. The guy misses games and only has 1 rushing touchdown all season. He's a great talent, but you can't have your best player on offense be running back. You need a strong O-line, a good receiving core, a good QB, all before a good running back. If anything, I'd argue that you don't need a great running back in order to win. Look at the Chiefs this year, one of the best teams in the league. They don't have a special running back. Or look at the Bills this year, one of the best teams in the league. They don't have a special running back. Same with Miami. The list goes on, but let's just look at the last Super Bowl winners. The Rams won in 2021 with Cam Akers / Darnell Henderson, nothing special. Tampa in 2020 with Leonard Fournette. However, they also had Brady, Evans, Godwin, AB, and a stacked offensive line. Fournette was not the core of that offense. The Chiefs in 2019 had Damian Williams, not a top running back. The Patriots in 2018 had Shoney Michel, a rookie. The Eagles in 2017 had Jay Ajayi, a good but not top running back. The list goes on. Point being that it's better to have an offense with a structured O-line and QB play. And I say with confidence that none of these 5 Super Bowl winning running backs were top running backs, as all 5 of them did not even obtain 1,000 rushing yards on the season. However, back to Alvin Kamara. Kamara in his past 4 games has averaged 27 yards with an average of 3 yards per carry. We also saw Kamara get leveled play after play against the 49ers, and he even lost 2 fumbles. I think it's safe to say that Kamara isn't going to reach a higher ceiling than he has already done so in New Orleans. So with that being said, he doesn't add a lot to the offense when the offense has no structure. He adds talent, but considering the contract he is under, his salary is weighing the team down more than he benefits the team. In September 2020, Kamara and the Saints agreed to a 5-year contract extension worth $75 million, and the deal made him one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. Kamara is now 27 years old and has signed his big contract. Once a running back signs that type of contract, we always see their production fall down. If the Saints could trade Kamara to a contending team and pick up a couple second rounders, that would only benefit their future for a rebuild and create major relief off their shoulders with not having to pay for his salary. And for those who say that teams are not going to take the risk for Kamara considering he misses some games and he's already 27, we saw that the 49ers took that risk with trading for Christian McCaffrey, so there are definitely teams that are willing to take a risk for a running back. And let's just look at some potential teams that would trade for Kamara. Obviously, this is all hypothetically speaking, but we saw that when CMC was up for sale, the two front runners were the 49ers and the Rams. The Rams season is done this year, but I'm sure they'll be hungrier than ever for next year. Assuming Kupp and Stafford come into next season healthy, on top of that, having Sean McVay as the head coach is always going to make the Rams a contender. We've seen all season that Stafford's only weapon that he trusts or leans towards is Cooper Kupp. Kupp averages nearly 12 targets a game with Stafford this season, and throughout the first 4 games, he was averaging nearly 14. Kupp is the only one that produces for this Rams offense, and it's safe to say that the Rams are in need for another weapon. On top of that, the running back room has been an absolute mess for the Rams. The Rams currently rank second last in rushing yards and second last in rushing yards per game. Cam Akers has been horrible and wants out of the team. Meanwhile, the Rams just cut Darnell Henderson. So it's safe to say that Alvin Kamara would be a great fit for the Rams considering both parties' situations. And on the AFC side, we can also look at the Ravens. A contending team, however, is lacking to provide Lamar weapons around the offense. We even saw against the Jaguars, the Ravens were kicking field goal after field goal and were really lacking that final product. Other than Mark Andrews, their offense doesn't have that many game-changing players. Adding Kamara would open up to the RPO game and run game even more and have defenses stressing. The Ravens are known for their running game and running schemes, and if you add Alvin Kamara to that, Lamar's game would only increase. Although, the Ravens are supposed to give Lamar a contract extension or franchise tag next season, so I'm not quite sure if they'd be willing to push for a Kamara move, but it's a possibility nevertheless. Altogether, Saints fans, even though it's a scary sight to see, the fact of the matter persists that a rebuild stage must happen within the franchise, and a core element to cater towards that stage is trading Alvin Kamara. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more content, and take care.